Brother Ben.
Brother Ben. Man, what do I say about Ben? What a character. Ben and I have been close since we were small kids. I think more so than me and any of my other siblings. This does not mean that I love him more than any of my other siblings, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. Just means I think there's a chemistry there. We're similar in age, similar in interests. We both like to play guitar. We both loved rock and heavy metal music as kids, and so yeah, it's been a privilege having him as a brother, and not just a brother but a friend, and us collaborating and playing together. To me, feels like it always has since we were kids. You know, we get in the studio, and sometimes all I have to do is look at him and nod. He knows exactly what I want. He knows exactly where I'm going. I tend to take the lead, and that's because of my personality. And not to say that Ben cannot lead, because he can. But in our relationship, you know, I have a tendency to lead. He has a tendency to come along and go with whatever I'm doing. And it works well for us when we're doing music together. And I see him as a very generous person. And he serves and he gives, and he doesn't think twice about it. He just gives. And I think that's what blesses me most about working with him, even more than his talent or the beautiful things he can do on the guitar, is just being in a relationship with someone who has that kind of heart. Yeah. And being the benefactor of who he is. Mm-hmm. It's a blessing. I love working with you, Ben. Thanks for coming in.
What does it mean to you to have been a part of these albums Jeremie has produced?
You know, I love that I've been a part of them.
Yeah.
You know, it's fulfilled a childhood dream. Mm-hmm. You know, but more importantly, it's fulfilling in knowing that, you know, I'm helping, I'm serving God, I'm helping, I'm doing the best I can. Yeah. And I know God is taking this specific project in this area of my life and using it to reach people and touch people in places that I can't physically go, or I have no idea, you know, what he's doing with it.
Yeah.
So welcome back. We're going to talk more about Ben in just a minute. But first, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the video editing process. And as you can see, I've got a camera set up here on the screen so that you can watch me demonstrate a couple of things. So let's get to it. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about the video editing, but before we do that, the most important thing, and we can't forget this, is none of this ever gets done, not one little bit, without the executive producer. So 100% of the time, as soon as I come in here, the executive producer runs right up to me and joins me. And here she is. Hi, Cece. Say hello to everyone. So I kid you not, 100% of the time while I'm doing this, this is right where she wants to be. She just has to be with me while I'm doing this. So, very important. We cannot get this done without her. So, thank you, Cece. So now, let me show you the videos. Now, after I've captured all of the footage, whether it is a music video shoot or a live performance in the studio or an interview, once all of that footage is captured, I've got to break it down into smaller bites. And this means I have to physically watch every video file from beginning to end. And every video segment has 3 camera angles. Like right in front of you, you have this one here. This is from Ben's interview. So these are all the videos that were shot. These are all the different takes. And that's camera 1. Then we have Raven, who was giving the interview. Every single shot equal to his, every take. And that is camera 2. And then we have my video footage, which I come in and out. I'm not there throughout the entire interview, but I come in and out as I'm pulled into the interview. So there's all of my interview files. And so, you guessed it, I have to watch every take, not once, not twice, but 3 times. And just to give you an idea of what that looks like, if you look at how many videos are here, multiply that times 3, and on average, I've got a video up here. And this is for one of the takes, and right down there you can see 9 minutes 44 seconds for one take. So figure on average, all of these videos are, 6 to 9 minutes a piece. That's just for the interviews. Live studio performances, those videos range from 15 to 20 minutes a piece, and I'll probably have just as many, if not more, of those to go through. So we're talking about hours and hours and hours of viewing and sifting videos. So once I've sifted through, 15, 20 or so hours worth of video footage, and I've decided on the highlight moments that I think are going to tell the story for the episode, I start to assemble them together. I do this by creating and editing what is called scenes. You're watching one of those scenes right now. So, real quick, we're going to go back to Ben and see a little bit more of his interview. And then on the back side of that, I'm going to get back to you and show you a little bit on the computer of what a scene looks like in the editing process. So let's get to Ben, and I'll catch you on the backside.
Do you have any favorite moments from working on this music that you can share with us?
I do. Yeah. I loved our studio time.
Really?
I want to say some of the favorite moments were the one-on-one with me and Jeremy.
Yeah.
Working in the basement on this. Well, let's face it, being married at the time, the other ones could get away from our wives for a very long hangout. So we didn't get to go to the bars and clubs and stuff,
Totally.
So that was our party time.
We had kids.
We had kids and responsibilities, and
totally.
And this was a good excuse to get away from all of that and
take a break.
Yeah, God wants us doing this.
No, but really.
No.
Yeah, and in all these years, you only actually got to go into the professional studio once with Scott Heibel at North Star.
Yeah.
When we were doing O Lang Syne.
Yeah.
And I think that was the first professional piece you and I actually did, the dueling guitars, where I did one, you did one, and Scott took us through that.
Well, and I did a second shoot with you too, because we showed up with Mike Stewart, and we did the intro to that other song on the Christmas album.
Yes.
Yeah. So we went to North Star 2 different occasions.
So that was O Come Emmanuel?
Yeah, and I believe that was back in 2004 when we did the studio.
03, 04.
That was the one song where I actually put my part on last, which was backwards, but it's like, we need an intro here, and then we did that last. Everything else was done.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was the first time that I had, I think, a musician come in and play to a song that I didn't have any click or beat to. Just,
Right.
me creating a free-flowing intro to a song. And so that was the first of a number of those that I've done. Since then, I've learned to conduct.
Yeah.
But with you, it was more of, okay, here's the guitar, here's what I want you to do. And you're just like,
He actually sent me home with a CD demo, and he played out the scale and notes that he wanted in the order he wanted them, but it was so square and choppy, no feeling, no background, and I'm like, you want me to play that? And I wasn't wrapping my head around it.
right, because you couldn't hear all the other instruments.
Right.
And so in my mind, I'm like, I hear it totally. I know where this is going.
So I'm like looking at this Halo 3, and he wants me to play Pac-Man.
That's pretty good. That's good. So wrapping up now, how have you seen this music affect others?
Oh, I've seen a lot of great response from this music. I've seen people, happy to receive it. I've seen people that just are moved to tears by it. I think it's a small part of what God's doing.
Yeah.
It's just a piece, but it's enough of a seed, and sometimes it's just enough peaceful flowing water to water that seed and to help it to grow into a plant, and to bloom and blossom.
Yeah.
It just brings that piece to it.
Oh, I love that.
It's got the Holy Spirit in it because you can feel it when you hear it.
Yeah.
Okay, this is going to be a very brief description of how to put scenes together, because I am not going to have you sit here for 7 weeks and watch me put this together. So the basic is, you got the video files here, and you take them and you drop them into the editing program here, okay? And then I drop them down into what is called the timeline. So I've got the video files in here, I've got the scenes that I want, and I've got Ben's camera angle here, I've got Raven here, and there's my camera angle there. So once I have all those put together in the order that I want, I start creating different spaces. So you see how you got Ben right here, and then you got Raven right here, and you got me right here. That's all done in the editing program. I will just briefly show you what that looks like. I'll close out these two and pull up the one. Okay, so here's mine. So I'm gonna highlight that and edit overlay. It's called an overlay because it's going over the top of the main video. And see right here, you can move it around however you want. You can make it whatever size you want. You can make it take up the whole screen. However you want to put it. So that basically is how that goes. Once I have them all in the place that I want, and I have them all synced up, I've got pretty much the scene put together. I do fade ins, fade outs, cross fades, all kinds of different things. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a bit. So basically there's the basic scenes all the way. And then the audio file. Now this audio file right here is all of our voices. You remember the 3 mics that Clark had set up in his studio? He recorded all of our voices, and then he edited them together and created this, what we call a track. And that goes underneath all the videos, so I mute all the videos. You see right there, that little speaker symbol? And it's got an X on it. I've got all the videos muted, and the only audio you're hearing is this audio right here. So that's the basics of how to put a scene together. Another step in the developing of these episodes is making sure that the images are as sharp and beautiful and colorful and clear as possible. So that means that you take the original video, which I have in here. I'm using one from Raven's interview from season 1. And you go into the color option and you make adjustments, contrast, saturation of the color, brightness, temperature, gamma, hue, all those different things to make the image as beautiful as possible. So for Raven, let me show you just a quick before and after. Take a look. So here's before and here is after. As you can see, much more beautiful presence to the image and overall quality. I do this with every video and with every still shot, every photo, every screenshot. So let's get back to Ben, and after that I'll talk to you about crossfades.
Being a part of this musical journey, what do you hope to see accomplished by all of this?
You know, I don't know if I really want to see anything accomplished. I'm just anxious to, well, not even anxious. I'm excited to see what the next step in this journey is going to be.
For sure.
You know, what the next season is going to bring.
Yeah.
You know, especially the way the world is going right now.
Right.
The way things are.
Oh, yeah.
You know we're close, but you also know that it's not time yet.
Right.
But it's time for the church to rise, and it's time for God's people to rise up and be the light, and he's going to take over this planet like never before. Mm-hmm. And to be on the front line of that, you know, I'm excited to see what the next season's going to bring.
Yeah, awesome.
So now I'm going to demonstrate what's called a crossfade, and here I just got a couple of videos I selected, one from Raven's interview from season 1, and another video of me in Ben's interview, just to demonstrate what a crossfade looks like. That's basically a transition from one scene to another or from one image to another. So I'll basically come into the video program here, and you know, assuming everything is synced and everything is, you know, picked out, I've got a fade from one scene to the other, so I'll just kind of put that right there, and that creates an effect that looks like this. Take a look. See, that's called a crossfade. You can do a number of different kinds of crossfades. I'll put a few in here and show you what that looks like. So with crossfades, you know, in the video program, you've got these transitions, and you've got basically hundreds you can choose from of different effects of how you want to crossfade, or you can create your own. So I have basically inserted a few for you to look at. So here is Raven, and we're going to crossfade into one of my shots. There's the first one. Here's another back to Raven. And this is another crossfade back to myself. And after that is done and you're ending the scene, you've got to fade to black. So I use a black photo and I fade to black. And that's how a crossfade is done. Now I'm going to show you a little bit about adding text. So let's say you want to add some text to create a description or in between transitions, whatever the case is. You go into your text tool right here and you have all kinds of different things. See, look at that. Oh, there's one example. And so I'm just choosing a basic one called light style. You insert it down here below. You can make it as long as you want. You can make it as short as you want, however you need it to be. And then you go and you edit it. So it looks like that. See, I wrote in there, this is a text sample. Say I want to put this in Raven shot, so I'm gonna, it's got a little bit of background stuff here, so I'm gonna get rid of that because I don't want it, although it is kind of pretty. But anyway, we're just gonna ditch that. Here's the text sample. I'm gonna just change it up a little bit. Let's say I want to put it here so it's legible, and then you can choose which kind of text you want, which kind of font you want to use, all kinds of different ones to choose from. And I'm usually going with this one here, and then italic. You can make it bold, you know, whatever you want to do with it. You want to add a shadow to it so it's a little more legible and on on certain images, you need to do this so that you can see it better. So that's basically the text tool, how it works. Fade it in when you want, fade it out when you want. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So we basically go to the beginning of the scene, and it looks like this. And it's going to fade out, which you can fade it out however you want to. There's lots of options for that too. So that's how you add text to the videos.
And finally, is there anything you would like to say to your brother and or the people watching this before you go?
I still play better than you. No.
Okay, we're gonna settle this right now. Here we go. We're gonna settle this right now.
All right.
And it's gonna require a degree of humility.
Oh, okay. I hope you're ready. No.
And this is for fun. This is just for fun. Okay, so electric lead guitar. Mm-hmm. Who is got the higher degree of skill? You or me? Be honest. It's okay. Humility, honest.
Well, humility and honest, I would have to say the level of skill is the same. Mm-hmm. You know, we've both been given a gift.
Yes, I agree with that.
And it may have taken off in different directions, but I think that you and I there is no better, no worse. Mm-hmm. We're just, like you put it earlier, two pieces to the same puzzle.
Sure. Sure. Okay, so I'm humbly going to say, as far as being able to play scales, I think Ben is better.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Everything else, as far as playing electric lead guitar, I would say, probably similar. Different styles, but similar skill levels. Okay, so we can agree you're better at playing scales. Mm-hmm. Okay. Electric clean guitar.
I think we're about even on that one too. I would say I would say you might have a bit of an edge because you tend to play towards the classical. Mm-hmm. So where mine might seem like it's flowing a certain way or a little smoother in some areas, I'm not quite as technical as you are.
Okay.
It's like I'll play the 6th string and I'm playing the crud out of those 6 strings, and you're playing a 6th string and you're trying to play 32 strings. Like you're doing some weird stuff in there. So
it's a different approach.
It is.
Yeah, we just think of it differently.
But it's almost like, we're playing a 4-bar chord, and I'll just play the chord, and you're trying to get as many notes in that 4 bars as you can.
Exactly. Yeah. I come from a kind of a classical bent.
Yeah.
Whereas you come as more of a rock bent.
Yeah.
So there is a little bit, maybe higher degree of technicality to classical music.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean better. It just means different.
Yeah.
I think. So, I would say I'm going to agree. We're probably even on electric clean. Mm-hmm. So you got the scales. We're even on clean. Okay, so now the acoustic guitar.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Hands down. Yeah, he's got me on the acoustic guitar. Hands down.
I think he knew.
Down. Like I told Kiera,
No, with the exception of, I would say you're better at 12 string.
Wow. I think it depends on how much practice I get in.
Yeah. Yeah, so see, we all have our strengths and
But
weaknesses.
see, that's a technical thing too, where I can play a 12 string and pick all 12 strings individually.
Yeah.
Or he can make chords and scales within the chords.
Right.
It's
both impressive.
Yeah. It's just opposite ends of the same spectrum.
Yeah.
So let's pause on that very last question.
Okay.
So one of the other issues that you got to overcome when you're putting episodes together of this size, there's a lot of information for the computer to process. And sometimes you run into syncing issues. So what do I mean by syncing? You remember how I talked about, during the takes you do this, slate or clap, create a spike to make sure that the timing of the audio is lined up with the timing of the video. Well, sometimes what is called bit rate is a little bit off, like the video is running a little faster than the audio or vice versa. And so what that is let's say you have two cars and one is driving at 20 miles an hour and the other is driving at 21 miles an hour. Well, initially it seems like they're side by side, but the further they go along, the more distance is created between the two. And the same thing happens or tends to happen with audio and video. As it goes along, the syncing gets worse and worse and worse. And so by the time you get 10 minutes in or 15 minutes in, you're hearing the audio and then you're seeing the visual, or you're seeing the visual and then like a half second later you hear the audio. So the sync is off and it looks terrible. Again, looks like an old-fashioned kung fu movie, and that just doesn't work. So let me show you real quick how I fix that. Take a look. So the fix for audio drift is pretty simple. I did not say easy, just simple. So here we have a segment from Jan's interview. This is about 24 minutes in. Started having those syncing issues where it started getting out of sync. So what I basically did for pretty much the whole video from about 4 minutes all the way to the end is I take the video file that I grabbed from the filing system and put it in there, and then I grab that file and I put it down here where the audio section is too. So now you have the video file, which is muted, and you have the audio of that video down here. And what I can do with that is take a look at this. I'm just gonna zoom in just a little bit. So let's say this is a little bit behind. I can move it ahead. If it's a little bit ahead, I can move it behind. Just basically wherever I need to move it for the audio and video to be in sync. And so I take care of that for the entire video, for every single episode, for every single segment of video. These all represent segments. You can see all the audio files for all the different segments, making sure they're all perfectly in sync with the video. And then after I've got all of the video and audio put in there, then I review the entire video to make sure that the syncing is correct. And so, like, if you remember from the season 1 talking about doing critical listening with Clark with music, well, I do a critical viewing with all the video. And every time I find mistakes, I make notes and I go back in and make corrections, and I continue the process until it is complete. So that's the process of fixing audio drift issues. Okay, I was in the basement, just took a quick break to switch laundry, and now I'm going to show you what happens every single time I go into the editing room to do video. Check it out. Who's that on the back of the couch? Ready to do some editing? And there she is. And we do this thing where she wants to come up. So, come on, baby. Up we go. And just pick you up. And you go. And this is where she wants to be. And that's all she wants to do. Then I start editing, and she just tucks herself in there, and that's that. Every time. Pretty funny. One more quick thing to mention before we get back to Ben's interview is a thing called automation. And this is what we are doing with the volumes. So you might have a segment where there is something that is too quiet, and this basically happens for pretty much every video. Something's too quiet, something's too loud, and you want basically a consistent volume throughout the entire episode so that you, the viewer, don't have to keep turning up your volume or turning down your volume, but you can just put it at one volume you like and just enjoy the experience. So that's kind of what that looks like here. And here we have the video file right here, and down here we have the audio file for it. This is from Jan's episode where it said teaching Jan unrehearsed parts. And so basically I'm automating the volume throughout that video just to keep it consistent, so that when it's not loud enough I can turn it up, when it's too loud I can turn it down here. And you basically do that through the entire performance. So you got all the syncing issues taken care of, you got all the automation issues taken care of, and here is a quick snapshot of what that looks like for an entire video right here. Hours and hours and hours worth of work. This right here probably represents 2 weeks worth of work. So let's get back to Ben. So since we've been talking about this, I think this is a good time for you to pick up that guitar.
Uh-oh.
So grab that axe.
Okay.
And let's give the listeners a little taste of just Ben Heston. Okay, y'all have heard my music, you know what I can do. But I want you to hear this guy. He's got some serious skill, and we're just going to give you a little sample. So we're not going to take you through a 6 or 8 minute song, but he's just going to play some riffs and have some fun. So go ahead and knock it out, buddy, and here we go. So Ben,
Yeah.
spend a little time with the listeners.
Okay.
Talk to them. Tell them what you're playing, how you learned it, all that.
Okay.
And take us through a few pieces, and then we'll move on from there.
Well, I think I'm going to start off with one that I worked on when I was, maybe 15 years old. I started playing this one. It's called Sisters from Steve Vai. And this is one that at the time was way beyond what my capabilities were. And I would take my little Steve Vai book with me to Denny's and drink coffee till 4 in the morning, studying every note on tablature because I can't read music. And it took me about 6 months to learn how to play Sisters. So I'm going to give you a little sample of that one. You can see I screwed up there, but this one's just kind of all over the place. It's just a really complicated, really involved guitar piece. There's some other ones that I've learned, like Always With Me, Always With You from Joe Satriani. Of course, that one's got a lot of guitar electric soloing that goes over the top of it. A lot of the songs that I've learned, I started learning, with either Jeremie or with friends pointed out, hey, learn this song, I really like this song, and then I'd pick it apart and listen to it and figure it out. And that's kind of how I learned my chords and my scales, and I never really learned how to read music. I learned how to read or listen to it by ear and just play it.
So no traditional training.
No traditional training.
Just like me.
Yeah. I learned my 7 basic chords, 1 bar chord, maybe 2, and then I just picked up scales and chords and everything by ear, just by watching other people play, just picking off of them. And
yeah, when mom and dad don't have money for lessons, we find a way.
Yeah, we just hammer it out and see what sounds good. So here's one.
Can you show us something that you wrote?
Yeah, here's one I wrote probably a couple years ago. I don't have a name for it yet. and haven't really used it on anything, but this is a little more clean and technical, like something Jeremie would probably, right?
So we'll just dub this for now.
Yeah.
Ben's tune.
Okay. Just kind of turns around and goes back into itself.
So I just had this thought that came to me while you were playing that, Ben.
Yeah.
I know with everything going on in your life that, it's probably not likely that you're going to go into the studio and develop that tune. Is that you're probably just going to play it for your own enjoyment. Mm-hmm. And so here's the thought. On the next album, when I finish up this whole album and video series and I start working on album 4, how would you like to come in the studio and you and I develop that tune?
That'd be awesome.
Okay. So you heard it, folks. We got a tune coming from Ben that we're going to develop in the future. And we'll do it on my dime. You give so much, let me give something back. Mm-hmm. All right. And we're going to develop that tune for Ben. And by then it will have a name on it. Now, it's probably not going to be released for 5 or 6 or 7 years, but we're eventually going to do it. So
yeah, and most likely it won't sound anything like that when we're done.
Oh, no. Yeah, we'll probably add keys. We'll probably add other stuff.
Yeah.
We'll develop it.
Slow it way down so Jeremie can keep up.
So, but you guys saw it here. That's what that tune sounds like. Yeah. Very basic, undeveloped. And so, if you ever check in, say 5, 6, 7 years from now, and you hear that song, just remember this day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're gonna do it, bro.
All right,
man. All right. So
Oh yeah.
Pause here.
No, keep going.
Did you want any electric distortion now? Or?
Yeah, and so before we finish off the interview, Ben, why don't you just give us a couple of really flashy electric scales to show everyone why you are the king of electric.
Oh, now he's putting me up on that. I'm nervous now.
Start into it and get into it.
All right.
Do it.
Do I need to find it? Distorted sound?
Yeah, just a distorted.
Pause for a second.
Yeah, we'll pause for a second. So one of the last things that I do when I'm putting these videos together is I add sound effects to crossfades or moments like, say, I don't know, maybe you're going to rub someone's bald head and you need kind of a squeaky Tupperware sound, or, just things like that. You got to add in the sound effects to complete the video. And so there's that, and then also finally you add the background music so that you have this nice kind of a movement to the video as opposed to just this stagnant commentary without anything else going on. So adding music is what everybody does in the videos in the professional field, and it's just a normal practice. And so that's one of the last things I do. Let me show you a little bit of that. So if you recall the filing system that I told you about, toward the end of putting the episodes together, I start adding the transition sounds or sound effects. And let me just insert some of those for you. Here's some of what that sounds like. You get the idea. So that one's called cartoon sound effects. You got all kinds of, camera shots, chimes, dings. A lot of the transitions that I use are swish type sounds, and on and on. So lots and lots of different sound effects. And finally, what you do at the very end is I put the background music in to the videos. And you got to be careful with background music, because if you're using other people's material, you can run into copyright issues, and your videos can get dropped from the internet, or you can get sued. So what I use is my own music, and I create a variety of music. So like for the last episode, Jan's episode, we had Breaking the Mold, and I had all these different mixes that I did for that particular episode. Another thing that I do is I sync or position the music so that it is complementing what is happening in the scene. And so that's an important part of putting music to the videos that you need to understand, is how to make the music move in and out of the scene. And so that's basically how I put these videos together. Depending on the length and scene type and a number of other factors. One episode will take me on average 5 to 7 or 8 weeks to complete from beginning to end. Now if you take that number and you multiply it times, say, 36 or so episodes, now you have just a glimpse of the size and magnitude of what this video series has taken to accomplish, on top of producing a 15-song music album, which was a whole nother process that started in 2017 and is continuing until I complete this process. It is a good thing, I think, that I work out and I eat right, because there's many days where I get up at like 7:30 in the morning, and I don't end up going to bed till like sometimes 2 or 3 in the morning, and that happens usually about 4 days a week, where I'm just spending every free moment I have working on this, trying to get it out on time for you guys. And I think it's a privilege, and it's very much worth it. And my hope is that somehow all of this makes a difference for God's kingdom, and it makes a difference in your life. So I am not complaining, just describing this is what it takes. This is part of the journey. This is what I go through. So let's get back to Ben.
All right, we'll do that one.
Rolling.
All right, Ben, what are you playing?
I'm going to do a little bit of Steve Vai's Juice, just a couple of riffs out of that one. Let's do that one again. A little rough, but there it is.
No, we get it. This is all shooting from the hip,
Yeah.
on the fly. But awesome stuff, man. Thank you.
All right.
All right. So let's get back to Raven and wrap this up. So we're almost at the end of this episode. And this is one of the final segments coming up of Ben's interview. And this segment has a mistake in it that cannot be hidden by studio magic. It is one of the worst kind of fears that anyone working in studio and video production can have. And that is having a lost or corrupted file of an irreplaceable moment. And that is exactly what happened here. So let me explain what happened and how I decided to handle it. Because I refused to skip this section of the interview just to keep up appearances. It's too important. And frankly, it's all part of the journey. And so I am going to just show you what this journey is like. So here's what happened. I'm the one running the cameras, and as you know, running almost everything. And what happened was, you ever have that happen where you go to take a picture on your camera, you touch the touch screen and it doesn't work, so you touch it a second time? And so usually I pay attention and I double check and I triple check, but one of a couple of things happened. Either I went to push record on this segment on Ben's camera 1, and it didn't start recording, or I did record it, and somehow when I transferred it over to my computer, I didn't double check to make sure I had all the video files before I deleted them off of my phone. Whatever the case may be, when it came time to put this interview together and put this episode together, I had the audio that Clark recorded, but there was no video. And I searched every file and folder, and I've got 3 external hard drives that I back up everything to. And I also checked the backlog on my phone and on camera 2 even. I could not find that file anywhere. It is just poof, gone. Either it was never recorded or it was lost. So what I decided to do was, I have camera 2 and 3 rolling, which is Raven's and mine. So you get to see us interact. And for Ben's position on this segment, I just have a still shot of him up, but you can hear what he's saying. So for whatever reason that happened, and I know God causes all things to work together for the good of those who love him and called according to his purpose. But I have to admit, I was heartbroken when I saw that, because it's an irreplaceable moment. It is so hard to get together with all of our different schedules, and to make that happen, it's just, you can't do it again. So I'm going to run this and show you how I fixed it, and I hope you enjoy this moment. And it's not a very long moment, but a very important one. So listen to what Ben has to say here. Final segment, take 1 in 3, 2, 1.
Is there anything you would like to say to your brother and or the people watching this before we go?
I would just say, thank God for you, Jeremie. I'm pretty blessed to have you in my life. And, to everybody out there that doesn't have a Jeremie in your life, sorry for your luck. He's an amazing brother. I'm sure that there is that somebody that is in your life, though. And, Jeremie has always been a positive reinforcement in my life. He's also been a guiding light. Even when I've gone down the wrong path, even when I've struggled, he's very consistent to point me back to Christ. I wouldn't say that he's always got it right, but he knows who always has it right, and he knows to point in that direction every time. And, with some of the things that I've gone through in my life, even before going to my parents or going to my mom or anybody else, I ran to my brother Jeremie. I wouldn't say that suicide ever crossed my mind, but I was close to the end. And I think, there's a specific time in my life when I was standing on his back porch when I finally just gave everything up for Christ for the first time and let him have control. And Jeremie was he was the one that took it in that direction and helped me get through that point in my life. And that turned my life 180 degrees. And had he not been in my life or been that person, it would have never happened. So, God definitely placed him in the place where he is. And I'm overjoyed to be able to return and be a blessing in Jeremie's life and be there for him. And to all you out there, just enjoy the music, enjoy what God is doing with the music, and enjoy the transition and process that He's taking us through, and the seasons that have changed in our life, and what He's done through us and in us in those seasons. It's translated onto these CDs. So I think that's a big part of why they're so powerful too, is there's a lot of real raw emotion, a lot of trials, a lot of tribulation, and a lot of victory, a lot of breakthrough that went on in the last 10 years within our family throughout this project.
Well, I just want to say, Ben, thank you. And it is an honor to have you as well as a brother. It's a privilege. And I feel that way about all the siblings. And but this is your moment. And I just want to say thank you. God has put you in my life as well. And you are making an impact, even when it doesn't seem like a significant one. Just think about this. Those guitar riffs and those things you do on the guitar, that's one of the pieces to the puzzle. It is a puzzle that is already, there's been over 10,000 hard copies sold of The Christmas and The Light in the Storm, those two albums. There's probably been over 9,000 downloads. We're talking close to 20,000 people. That's just what I'm aware of. That doesn't account for the people who said, oh, this is neat, here, let me make a copy and share it with you, the people who share it. The people on social media, YouTube, Facebook, all the different stuff. Thousands and thousands of people that you have been able to touch with your gift. And so never discount the fact that God's using you. And you're a powerful person. And I'm grateful to have you as a brother. So.
Oh, I love this. Okay. I'm going to try not to cry.
So do you see why I couldn't just leave that scene out? It meant too much to all of us. It's irreplaceable. And a once-in-a-lifetime moment that we get to share with all of you. And the enemy will not steal it if we are willing to be humble enough to be honest with our imperfections and mistakes. And what the heck? We're all imperfect. So now I'm going to make good on a promise that I made to you, which is toward the end of this video, I am going to show you just a small sample of Ben and I playing in the rock mix of Forever Hallelujah. And this is straight from the music video. That's not going to be released until fall of 2023. And there are no voices present in this mix. I mixed it that way so you could just hear Ben and I. And like I said early on, this is going to be just a sample, and you're only going to hear samples. You're never going to hear the thing fully put together until it's time to release it. So with that, enjoy this little clip, and I'll get back to you in just a second. I hope y'all enjoyed that. I know that we did, and I cannot wait for you guys to hear the full version. It is huge and amazing. Still got one singer to bring in, and then after that, Clark and I need to mix that beast, and it is going to be quite a journey getting that finished, but I'll get her done. And so now it is time to bring Ben's portion of all of this to a close. And I just want to say once again, Ben, thank you and love you, and I am grateful to you. and I'm hoping we can do it again someday. And so, everyone else, you all have a blessed day. We'll be talking to you soon, and I'm going to leave you with this one question. What time is it, everyone? Take a look.
Brothers of the flatulence.
All right, so before we close this interview, my dad has a gift for you.
Oh.
Okay, here's the gift. There's a card in there.
All right.
I want you to read the card out loud and then open your gift.
All right. It says, thank you. Oh, I hate that I'm 48. Okay, here we go. Ben, I just want to say thank you for all of your hard work and sacrifice in helping me on all these albums, all 3 albums. There's no one I would rather jam on guitar with than you. You're a man who gives so freely of your time and resources, and your sincerity. Is that what that says? I say sincerity.
I know you need glasses.
Generosity.
There you go.
Well, it's not the glasses.
Oh.
Does that look like an S, not a G?
I can't tell. And I'm wearing my glasses.
Exactly.
And I'm wearing my glasses.
So your generosity is one of the things I love most about you. This music has already touched thousands of people, and there will be many more to come. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all your contribution and support in all this. So to show you my appreciation for all you've done for here, here's a small gift. May it always bring joy to your heart and a smile to your face. Love, Jeremy, your brother. Oh, now I'm scared. Because I know,
Do you want to guess?
I know your dad.
Yeah, but do you want to guess?
Oh, is that so?
I'm gonna guess.
You could just guess.
Oh, I could just guess. It's.
I'm curious.
Don't guess.
Why? It's
I'm not
fun.
gonna guess. I'm not gonna guess.
Okay.
All right, let's see what it is. Tissue paper. You shouldn't have.
Yeah.
I had a feeling. It was the whoopee cushion. Yes. So I get to keep this one?
Yes, and
Awesome.
yeah, and make a joyful noise, my friend.
You know, now that I'm 48, honestly, I really don't need it anymore. Comes naturally. All right, everybody has to do this, so here we go.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, man. Let's come over here and thank you, man. I love you.
Love you too.
Your back just cracked when I hugged you.
It did.
You are getting old.
You're only a year behind me.
All right, let's do our video shoot, buddy.
All right.
Hello, I hope you enjoyed that episode. Now, if you want to watch more episodes, you simply go on YouTube and type in Jeremie Heston, followed by My Journey Making Music, the season number, and the episode number that you want. I have 2 seasons out, and there are many episodes with wonderful stories and all kinds of fun things to watch. Also, at the end of season 2, I am releasing 2 very big music videos for the song that I wrote entitled Forever Hallelujah. And I will be releasing a rock music video with a rock band and all the singers, and an a cappella music video. The final episode for season 2, the season finale, includes the a cappella video, and that is the Fun Facts episode. So there's the information you need for the video series. And for finding my music, I have 3 albums out. One is Christmas Guitar Piece, the other is A Light in the Storm, and my 3rd fall release of 2023 is Just Let Go, and that should be released in November of 2023. It should be available to download all of that music on iTunes or Amazon. Hopefully Spotify, I believe so. There's been a lot going on trying to get all of this done. And so if you don't see it up right away, just be patient. I'll get it done as quickly as I can, and you should be able to download all my music on all of the major sites. So there's all the information you need to enjoy the videos and to enjoy the music. Thank you again for watching. Thank you for all your support, and I hope you will go and download the music today. God bless you, and I will talk to you another time. Take care.